Hi, it's Michelle here. I just want to talk a little bit about my journey and how I became an illustrator, particularly that it was later in my life. And I thought others might be interested, other artists who are that bit older and are working jobs they might not be particularly happy with, and would like to change and do something more creative. It's possible, and it's more than possible. It's very achievable. I'm able to do it, so anyone can do it. So this is a little piece I did a few nights, or probably a couple of weeks ago now. It was a lighting study, and I often sit up at night time and just draw on my iPad and do studies, try new techniques, that type of thing. And this was a lighting study. I think it took me about three hours, something like that. And I called it a night, put it away, posted it to social media the next morning, and it got a ton of interest, lots of interest, comments, likes, blah blah. And it made me think about how I overwork a lot of my artwork, especially my work for clients and my personal projects for exhibitions and things like that. I think I get to that point where it's finished, but then I obsess over it and go in it and detail the hell out of areas that it just doesn't need any detail, and it changes the art from being expressive and beautiful to being this overworked, stiff mess, really. So that's one of the things I really need to work on. I need to teach myself to say, right, stop, that's enough. Don't do any more. It's at that stage where the more you do doesn't add to the beauty of the art, it takes away from it. So yeah, that's one of the things I need to work on personally, along with a lot of other things. There's constantly learning, constantly evolving and getting better. And I always will, it's a lifelong journey. So getting off this piece and more into what I was hoping to talk to you about was how I became an illustrator. At 16, I was accepted into the Melbourne School of Art, which was a really prestigious art school where I live. And I was the youngest student there. It was an amazing place. We had amazing studios. They were flooded with natural light. We had models that came in every day, the best professors, the best art teachers. I studied art history, technical drawing, graphic design, fine art, life drawing, and a smatter of other things that they gave as specialist subjects. I learnt from a Japanese watercolourist, that type of thing. It was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. And I was all set to graduate and paint for a living. That was really what I wanted to do. I love fine art and I love to paint. But things changed because I became pregnant and I had a little baby. And I needed instant income when I graduated. I made it through art school, and that was really great, but I just didn't have the luxury of spending years waiting to build a clientele as a painter. So graphic design was really the only other alternative. It was the only alternative for an instant income. And I was lucky, I landed a job straight away, and I had a good career working for a print firm, and I learned a lot there, but it wasn't creative like I wanted to be creative. I was basically a paste up artist, putting together brochures, making logos, that type of thing. It just wasn't the creative environment I hoped to be working in. So, but I did it, and it gave me a good income and a good life. And as the years progressed, I got married, I had horses, I trained race horses and I rode horses, and I did a few other jobs as well. And then I was about 30, I was diagnosed with a really rare illness, and my life changed all over again. I had to stop working because I was in so much pain all the time. I couldn't work. I had tons of operations, was in and out of hospital and all of that. My marriage broke down. It wasn't the best time of my life. But I believe things happen for a reason, and this happened for a reason. So from there, the next, it was quite a few years, I didn't do much of anything because I was so sick. I nearly died about 3 times, had a lot of complications and operations. But I did pick up my sketch pad and start drawing again. And when I was in hospital at one point, one of my nurses, he had a friend that did digital art, and he showed me some of his friend's art, and it blew my mind. It reignited that passion that I had so many years ago that I'd lost. And when I came home, I decided to purchase a computer and got myself a little Wacom bamboo tablet, and I started to do digital art. That was 4 years ago, I think. Yeah, about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, something like that. And it's the best thing I ever did. So I spent a couple of years learning everything again, because after not drawing for 20 years, I'd forgotten everything that I'd learnt, all the fundamentals and everything. Plus I needed to learn these programs, because when I was doing graphic design, it was pre-digital. We did go into digital, and I did learn the programs myself, like CorelDRAW and Illustrator, PageMaker, and a few others that were Quark. That's going back a lot of years, and was very, very simple back then compared to what it is now. But it never occurred to me that you could draw and paint in a computer back then. I don't know why, because I did do technical type of drawings, but not the illustrations that I do now. So getting back to where I was, and starting to paint digitally it was all that creativity and that passion and everything that I had just came flooding back tenfold. It was an amazing feeling, and I was so excited about what I could do with it. So I gave myself the time to learn and sort myself out to regain the skills that I'd lost over the years. And last year I decided I was at a place where my work was going okay, and I felt I could start freelancing. So that's what I've done. And 2 years ago I couldn't draw people. I hated it. I hated doing it at art school. I hated it with a passion, life drawing. I used to take off and go down the pub and play pool because I didn't want to do the life drawing classes, which is, now I think about it, I think it's because I was young and maybe a bit embarrassed by the nude models because all the guys were older in our classes and all of that. I think that's what put me off a little bit. But yeah, it really was deeply ingrained because I didn't want to pay people at all. So I drew animals and I drew environment and all of that, but nope, wasn't touching people. But if I decided I wanted to work in this industry, so I had to put that aside and I had to learn and I had to get rid of the fear and just do it. And you know what? It's my favourite subject of all. I just love to draw people. I love drawing portraits. I love drawing character design. I love the story behind it. I like every little aspect of it, the expressions and emotions. And who'd have thunk all those years ago when I was playing pool that I'd end up doing this? I sure didn't. Yeah, so this is where I am now. I've got a nice little client base. I've been in Wacom's Next Level exhibition. I'm just honoured with Corel by becoming a Corel Painter Master this year. What that entails is I suppose I'm endorsed as one of their master artists. I suppose that's the best way to put it. And I do work for them, like making brushes, webinars, doing artwork for them they use for advertising and that type of thing. I'm sort of only a few months in, but we've done a lot, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's very, very blessed, and it's quite surreal because I'd look at the Corel Masters while I was learning and think, oh my God, I wish, I could draw like them, and hopefully one day I'll be as good as them. And now my name's next to them, next to people like Android Jones. And that to me is mind-blowing. Sorry, I just got to have a drink, sorry. People like, and other artists, Don Siegmiller, Dominic Sarpanaro, who else? David Harrington, Colin Chan. They're all artists that I've looked up to, and to have my name associated with theirs is, yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and I feel so very blessed. So that's my story so far. Hopefully I'll have more to add to it at a later date. But I just hope people are aware that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you've got that dream and it's something that you really, really want to do, go for it. Put in the work, and it takes work. It takes a lot of hard work. But if you put that work in, you can do it. I know a lot of people are in the same position as I was, that you need to have a steady income. So draw on the side if you can, whenever possible, and start to build yourself a client list. And hopefully one day you'll have enough clients and enough money coming in that you'll be able to leave your other job and work solely as a creative. And there's a lot of opportunities. There's so many more opportunities than when I finished art school. Illustrators have so many options. You can go into concept art, publishing, doing book covers, that type of thing, movie posters, blah, blah, gaming, character design, cinema. There's just a world of options out there, and there's plenty of work to go around. There are a lot of artists, but there is a lot of work too. So I hope that this helps some of you to see that it's possible and to go for it. And even, there must be other people who are in my situation too, that they're not well, maybe you can do it. You've just got to handle it sensibly, I guess. My clients are always very aware that I have this illness. I make sure that I tell them, just in case. I've never had to disappoint a client, but I just want to make sure they're aware from the start that complications could arise for me, that I may end up in hospital, and then they can make the decision whether they want to take that chance or not. And I've never lost a job because of it. And I don't overload myself. I think that's one of the biggest things. If I took on too many jobs at once, I wouldn't be able to control it. The days that I would be sick, I'd be too stressed and I'd be too worried about my workload. Whereas balancing it out the way I am, I can take those days and say, right, I'm too sick, I'm too much pain, I can't work today. That's okay. So I hope others can see that there's a lot of light and positivity at the end of it if you take that chance, and that you can do it. Just study hard, practice hard, and yeah, I'd love to hear anyone's stories that are similar or different. You know, I'd like to hear your journeys, and any older artists that have come back to it. I'd like to hear how you're going and what you're doing with it and all of that. And thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll leave you with the rest of this video to watch, and take care.
Born on the wrong side of the ocean, with all the tides against you. You never thought you'd be much good for anyone, but that's so far from the truth. I know there's pain in your heart, and you're covered in scars. Wish you could see what I do. 'Cause baby, everything you are is everything I need. You're everything to me. Baby, every single part is who you're meant to be. 'Cause you were meant for me, and you're everything I need. You can say I'm wrong, you can turn your back against me, but I am here to stay. Like the sea, she keeps kissing the shoreline. No matter how many times he pushes her away. 'Cause baby, everything you are is everything I need. You're everything to me. Baby, every single part is who you're meant to be. 'Cause you were meant for the wrong side of the ocean, with all the tides against you. You never thought you'd be much good for anyone, but that's so far from the truth. I know there's pain in your heart, and you're covered in scars. Wish you could see what I do, 'cause baby, everything you are is everything I need. You're everything to me, baby. Every single part is who you're meant to be, 'cause you were meant for me, and you're everything I need. You can say